our friend Angel. AngelsFriendlyGetaways.com. Angel is a travel agent who specializes in sports packages. If you need to get away, if you need concert tickets, if you want to go to the next Giants game, you guys need to go to AngelsFriendlyGetaways.com or call 1-716-980-5727. He can tell you how to get paid to travel and set you up with a full sports package. I would have loved to do this when the Giants played in Miami last year. This dude will hook you up with the flight tickets, the hotel reservation, the game tickets, the whole 9 yards. So go over to AngelsFriendlyGetaway.com. But with that, let's talk about Husain Abdullah of the Chiefs announcing retirement. Now, this can spin into a couple different directions here. All right, now, he was an undrafted safety and went to the Vikings, then made his way over to the Chiefs. Now, he's most known for being the man who got the pick six. I think it was against Pittsburgh. But when he got his pick six, he ran into the end zone, bowed down, and I believe it's called offering salah. I think that's what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
Offering salah. Okay, which would be a Muslim prayer, all right? When this happened, he had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty thrown on him.
Yeah, but back in the day, Tebow was able to do that. And
yeah, everybody's Mark Bavaro's parade and everything.
It became like a trending thing, the Tebow.
Yeah.
So if anything, that just
became a little bit too much of a trend, if you ask me.
Honestly, to penalize somebody like that after making an accomplishment that is not an easy feat to get a pick six. It is not an easy feat to do. If you're gonna say no celebration, then there should be no celebrations at all. Like if you're jumping up and you're high-fiving your friend, guess what? That's a celebration.
Now, however, though, we do got to say the NFL, it was too little too late, but the NFL did have a spokesman come out, I forget who it was, the day after, and say that wasn't appropriate and the flag should have never been thrown and all this. They claimed that the referee didn't know what he was doing and just thought. But even if the referee didn't know what he was doing, that's not excessive celebration.
No,
still.
not at all.
Like I could see if his prayer was like a backflip, that might.
Yeah,
but
it just goes to show you that there is a double standard when it comes to religious affairs, and it saddens me because I come from a non-biased standpoint where it's like, believe what you want to believe. Do what you're going to do, because I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But honestly, why aren't people just living up to their moral standards of being a good person?
Well, it's funny that you say all
How about that?
Because you're kind of segueing us right in. But we got to stop somewhere first. We're going to get over talking about discriminating or pushing other people's beliefs into this whole Atlanta thing that's going on down there. But before that, the reason why Husain Abdullah is retiring, another hot button topic, scared of the concussions. He has received I don't know, do you see the exact number in there?
Five concussions.
5 concussions. And, received 5 concussions in a 9-year stint. Now, he was drafted 10 years ago, but he took a year off in the middle of it, also because of concussions or some other injury. Mm-hmm. Now, he left with this quote saying, "It's important to leave the game healthy. I'm able to be here for my kids and walk away on my own terms. I feel like I got everything out of football in playing 10 years alongside of some truly great players." So what do you guys, there's a whole bunch of other CTE stuff going on. So let's try and, do you guys want to talk about that or just jump right into this whole Atlanta thing?
Well, I think, we should talk about the brain issue first, because it's something very, it was taboo for a long time to even bring it up. And now it's so much in the forefront now because you have to protect your players. And for the NFL to take the approach that they did and now try to play cleanup, it's really disgusting. It's almost as disgusting as some other, we'll say agencies that do the same thing. They do a lot of dirty work and then they clean it up in the end to try to make it look like it was, clean work. But we all know that there was a lot of dirty, bloody hands, and not only that, to ignore this issue that, killed ultimately a lot of great football players and sent a lot of great people to their deathbeds sooner than need be, because there wasn't enough information at the time. Granted, that's one thing that the NFL can save their hindquarters with, but ultimately now to slowly address this CTE issue when it's been brought up to their attention, and so much so that it took a motion picture, which apparently in American days you have to stupefy it and put it in a movie in order for somebody to be like, that's a problem. Like, you really do. And
well, those giant lawsuits that happened is really what got people's attention.
Yeah, and then not only that, I think the biggest thing that caught my eye with it, and it was almost the entire San Francisco squad
last year.
leaving.
Yeah, we just talked about that on a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, and that was my eye-opening moment. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, what were you when you were looking up some stuff? What's going on with this New York Times thing, and the Cowboys not saying they had as many concussions? You were telling me about that. Do you know anything that's going on about that?
Yeah, well, apparently I think what's going on with this is that the New York Times published an article saying that there were X amount of concussions over X amount of period of time, and the NFL is now denying that the number or whatever it was that they put out is wrong, and the NFL is all up in arms about it. But what happened, I guess, is that the NFL actually left out over 100 concussions in a set study that they did, and so I mean that's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I mean, this comes just after they came out and said they do believe there is a link, or there's definitely a link. It was something that was very direct, very to the point. Yeah. There's definitely a link, the NFL came out and said, between football and CTE. And then Jerry Jones at the owners' meetings came out and said he doesn't know why people saying that. There's no proof of it. He does want to keep the game safe, but he doesn't think that there's any real evidence of this, and he kind of sounds like the minority here. But also, wasn't a major thing with all those concussions not being reported? Didn't a big chunk of them come from the Cowboys that were missing?
Well, yeah, that's what we learned. I learned earlier today is that apparently teams, and the Cowboys in particular, were keeping not reporting concussions that were happening, or at least they weren't finalizing, going through the second step in the protocol. In the concussion protocol, and then in turn those concussions were not actually part of the final number, which I guess is what is leading up to this over 100 concussions that were not accounted for originally.
Okay. Now, also, that's a fine in and itself. Do you know what I mean? Not reporting an injury. And I think the Jets are going to run into this problem now with Darrelle Revis. Apparently, he had a wrist injury or something like that he just had surgery on, but he was injured for most of the year with it, and they never reported. So they haven't been issued it yet, but that's generally something that gets you a fine as well. But if you guys are good on that, let's jump over to Atlanta, Georgia. The governor, what's his name, Nathan Dell, he's going to veto this House Bill 757. Now, the critics are saying basically this is just discriminative against the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, transgender. Yes, okay. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
The NFL is completely against this, but they were trying to pass a bill in Atlanta where I don't know the real specifics of it, but something to do with the gay marriage and who can perform them, and also who can be employed for what job if they're gay or a lesbian or anything like that in the state of Georgia. Now, the NFL jumped out against this, and they said Atlanta will never get a Super Bowl if this bill was passed. So the governor is vetoing the bill, so it's not going to happen. So, which means Atlanta can still campaign for a Super Bowl and all that, but I don't know how quickly this is going to disappear. It seems like on a hot button topic once the NFL's on the right side.
It's a hot topic issue because if you're a gay person in that state, now your liberties and freedom to be who you want to be are now being infringed upon, which is almost like a mild Jim Crow law in a sense, because it's like, well, we don't like you. and I'm not going to serve you. Well, honestly, in certain establishments, you let them be that way. You know why? Because then that will just prove that their business will not thrive, because they'll only be catering to a small niche of people. Because
the demographic that if they exclude a certain demographic, whether it's gay people or whoever, you're going to lose business. So by all means do that if you want, but know that your business is going to suffer for it. And I say,
and not only that, what does that say about your moral compass?
Well, let's remember here, Arthur Blank, who's the owner of the Falcons, and many other local business owners were against this. I'm not trying to make everybody in Atlanta, sound bad, but basically the legislation would have allowed clergy to refuse to perform gay marriages and would have protected people who refused to attend the ceremonies. Churches and other affiliated religious groups also could have declined severe or hire someone based on their faith or sexuality. The NFL has said they would pull the Super Bowl out of Atlanta. Not that there's definitely going to be one, but there would never be one, they were saying, if this was passed, due to the fact that the NFL's policies emphasize tolerance, inclusiveness, and prohibit discrimination based on age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, or any other improper standard. Wow. Those are not my words. That's a direct quote from the NFL. Is that really improper standard? Don't you think that's don't you think that's like not the right term to use?
I wouldn't use the word improper. No.
Yeah, they could have came up with a better word than improper. I mean, unless I'm thinking of the definition wrong.
Basically, what they're saying is that all your constitutional rights are going to be protected as they should be in your job. All right. Unfortunately, this topic brings up a lot of hot topic and boils my blood because I claim to be an agnostic person. Grew up a Jehovah's Witness and a Christian on both of sides of my family. So I got to, experience morality in those two senses. So and given the fact that I've, I took the time to read those doctrines and compare them, I formulated my own compass and was like, look, all right, I get that story. I looked into the Muslim faith and things. Why can't people just be decent people? I like to use this theory, all right? And just this analogy. Think of a dinner scene, okay? Everybody gets their own plate. Why are you looking over at your neighbor's plate, seeing what he's eating? Why don't you just focus on what you're eating and do what you need to do to make sure what's on your plate is going to fulfill your needs?
Yeah, that's
a really good way to look at it.
The only time I care at all what anyone outside of basically my children and my wife do is when it causes a negative impact to me. So things like gay people and sex change, nothing. I'm not losing money because of it. I'm not losing my job because of it. I'm not losing my house because of it. So I don't care about it.
It's your body. You do what you want with it, and until it infringes upon my living you affect me negatively, I won't say a darn thing. Why? Because you do what you do and you have fun with it. You know why? Because it's your life. Everybody gets a ticket to ride, but you know what? You should not be enjoying your ride based off of other people's perceptions. You need to enjoy the ride from your own perception.
Aside from the use of the term improper standards, I think
that is terrible.
That's pretty bad. But I think the NFL actually has a really good viewpoint on this. For once, yeah.
Well, they're trying to, they're trying to change the culture over there, which I'm glad that they're trying to change with the times because, honestly,
it's 2016.
It's 2016, and you know what's well overdue? A renaissance period. Why? Because there's so many things that have changed. We need to educate ourselves.
I think that is happening now, though. I kind of think we're at the dawn of a renaissance. I mean, just the fact that the White House was lit up with rainbow lights and gay marriage coming as far as it has, I think we are kind of at a new birth, renaissance.
But it's either
just
going
hasn't
to be
evolved yet.
It's either going to be
completely.
revolutionary in the intellectual sector, or it's going to be a revolutionary movement with ignorance and volatile actions.
The society, it's kind of it's very split on both ends of this. Do you know what I mean?
Which I like to say convoluted logic. All right, the same person that is saying that they hate black people, but then they'll listen to a few black songs.
Listen to Lil Weezy.
Yeah, that little Weezy song was great. I was lollipopping. And it's like, what? Like, what, dude? Like, so, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people that contradict themselves more so than we would like to, think about, because, most people are not at that self-awareness level that, we strive to be in our lifetime. And, honestly, the biggest step towards self-awareness is accepting your environment and the things that you can and cannot change. So use your energy to do something positive. And once again, keep your eyes on your own plate. Enjoy your own plate. Don't worry if this dude put tassels all over his plate to make it look flamboyant, and because it's his plate. He did what he wanted to his plate. Or if she wants to, do something different and eat half pork, half chicken, and just only eat meat, who cares? Who cares?
I agree. But we're going to have to kick this back over.
Getting real deep on the
real
voice
deep.
of Bedlam
Sorry.
Real quick,
podcast.
I got to tell you
Bothers
guys.
me so much.
That's all right.
But you know what? I got a great transition here. Well, I like to take things into my own hands. I'm a DIY, as everyone here can see, we're DIY.
Definitely.
So for all the DIY people out there, it's time for you to start, stepping up to the plate, taking over things, saving some money. And the best way to save money is to take care of your air filters. So make sure you hit up K&N replacements. Okay, this is going to increase your horsepower, your vehicle performance in that engine, to make sure that everything is running smooth, because you don't want no dirt in your engine.
They were the original performance filter of NASCAR. That's a pretty nice accomplishment.
Yes, it is. So for all of our NASCAR fans, you already know about K&N. For people that are working on cars and stuff, you already know about K&N. I know about K&N because, see, I'm a Mopar man. All right, I'm not going to lie. I always went with my Mopar filter. But you know what? I switched up.
Yep, K&N's got that 1,000,000-mile guarantee.
So,
well, you guys can, if you guys go to knfilters.com/podcast. Now that's the letter N, filters.com/podcast. You're going to get a nice little deal. You're going to get a great deal on a K&N replacement air filter with free shipping. And as a bonus, if you throw in that little podcast thing, you're going to get a free K&N hat. Now, as I said, it comes with a 1,000,000-mile guarantee, and they're the original performance filter of NASCAR.
it will last up to 50,000 miles between servicing. It will not void your new car warranty. And it's made from quality materials in Riverside, California.